Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hope. I have my friend Allison with me today. How are you today, Allison?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to hear your story. So I've known Allison, we were just talking probably about 3 years now. We met through a business that we both do, and we're sidelines to each other, but we became really good friends. We love to dance together for sure. And throughout the journey of knowing Allison, I've watched, I've watched her growth so much just since I've known you. But then I've heard and seen a lot of your story, and your struggles that you've been through, but the strength that you're at is incredible. So for everybody on here, if you don't know, Hope is helping other people evolve. And what my mission and vision here is just to help people know that they don't struggle alone, that you can hear a story that somebody went through a struggle, unfortunately, but fortunately they've gotten to a hope in life. And I just hope that it helps somebody get out of bed that day. It helps somebody open their front door and just walk outside and just take a deep breath and know that you can get through your struggles and you're not alone in your struggles. So I've never really heard your full story, Allison, but I'm excited to hear it because I know that from what I've seen, you posting and stuff, that you definitely have been through some pretty strong struggles in life. And still sometimes, I know I just saw a whole lot of stuff going on with your son and you, and I was like, oh my goodness, this girl just keeps going through it. So wherever you'd like to start, I don't know, if you like to start, like, I don't know what your childhood was like or whatever, but wherever you want to start sharing with us, and I'll just kind of randomly jump in if you don't mind.
Yeah, perfectly. Interject whenever. It's crazy you asked me to share because there's so many people who have been through what I see as so much worse, or a harder struggle than I did. But you're right. There are people out there that can relate to what I went through. And a lot of people, may not see it as a struggle, and then they just stay in the cycle. So what I'm really, I'm passionate about cycle breaking the family patterns that people stay stuck in because we love the people and all the excuses we make, instead of really, taking it for what it is and loving those people, but understanding the habits that you need to break or new patterns you need to create for yourself, for your family. So, just to kind of briefly go through my childhood, I wouldn't say that it was terrible, but I do come from some toxic habits: alcoholics, drug addicts, explosive fights between everyone. It was just, what I learned in relationships is you argue, you don't communicate, everything goes 0 to 100. So, and also every female in my family had children very young. That was another cycle I didn't break, but I'm breaking with my children. I got pregnant at 18, got married right out of high school, married my high school sweetheart, and he joined the military, and we moved 2,000 miles away from everyone. So I was 19, raising an 8-month-old and this new husband who got shipped off to war right away.
Goodness.
So it was just I just did it, I always babysat, so it came naturally to just raise a child. But looking back, my son's 20 now, I'm like, holy shit, he could handle what I had to do at his age, So it's just it's wild to see, me breaking the cycle and doing better for my kids. But yeah, a lot of people stay stuck in those cycles of toxic families and don't know how to break free. Or, I was lucky I got to move away from my hometown, because things probably would have been different if I just stayed in small town Ohio, right? So definitely blessings along the way. And that's always what I clung to, is that silver lining of, I got away. This is my chance for a fresh start, even if it's hard. I was in an abusive marriage, married to an alcoholic. Didn't realize it when I was young, because again, that's all I saw was drinking, fighting. I thought this is what marriage is. We just got to tough it out, work through it, all the bullshit people tell you. So I just stayed and stayed. But as it got worse and abuse started going towards my oldest child, that's when I was like, I can't live like this. I need a way out. But, I was a military wife, raised babies, didn't work really, here and there. But I was always made to feel like, you'll never make it without me. Nobody's going to want someone with 2 kids, or you never went to college, all the bullshit. Right. And all those things still stick with me. Those are things that I'm still every day, because it's a daily growth, but those things get implanted in your mind, so I'm still breaking those, whatever you want to call it, things that were implanted that can't be successful because you didn't go to college, or you're a single mom or a teen mom, all the things we tell ourselves. So, I got divorced 6 years ago now, 6 years. Lost my father within the same 30 days of my divorce was final, and was just like starting a whole new life. All I had ever known was military wife. So to start all over, losing my dad, we were super tight. So that was hard. And my boys are really close with him. Not going to cry about that.
Deep breaths. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a really rough time. That was, my rock bottom per se of like
right.
starting over. But I am my father's daughter, and he was one of the hardest workers I ever knew in my life. So, and I swear the sport of gymnastics created the human I am today. That discipline, training 25, 30 hours a week as a child, that's a huge discipline. So I do attribute a lot of my mindset and that drive to just continue, like, even though things are shitty now, you can just keep going, get back up, do it again. So yeah, after my divorce, I just went all into me and my kids, and started going through, I got my yoga certification 3 years ago, started teaching yoga right away. But through that process, I started doing yoga at home first. I had probably only taken a handful of in-studio classes before I went and got certified. But I just felt like it was calling to me. So that in itself, I attribute to a lot of my growth as well. It's guided me to a lot of books, podcasts, things for self-development and growth, and healing those wounds from our childhood, and understanding you can love people from a distance for your own well-being.
Yeah.
I could ramble and ramble. I don't know if you want to interject.
No, that's good, because I like what you said about you can love people from a distance, because in the last, honestly, year and a half, I've learned more of detachment and that. So I want to go a couple of things that you said that I've been talking about a lot lately, is when you said, like, growing up, alcoholic addict, yelling, screaming, that was just normal. So people that don't live that life, that or haven't, and they look at from the outside in, they're like, why are you like that? Why do you go 0 to 100 that quick? And it's like, because that was normal for me, right?
Yeah.
That's the same way that I was. I had a lady ask me last week, like, how old was I when I had my first drink? And I was like, I think I was 12. And she was like, and did you think that was okay? And I said, yeah, because that was my life. That was normal to me. So when we think about those things that are implanted in our brain, and we have to be the one to change that cycle, like you said. And that's where I was at too with my son, the same thing. Like, I got to change this, because I don't want my boy to be like that. So you were married then for how many years?
14 total.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. So what, I guess, for our listeners out there that do live, there's so many people that live in abusive relationships, whether it's men, women, whoever it is. What was it that you finally decided that I can't live like this and I can't do this to my boys?
Go ahead and grab my tissue.
Okay. I love you.
You just asking that question made me tear up, because give me just a second.
Fine. It's fine. Yeah. I'll take a drink too.
This is why I don't talk about that asshole.
Right. I know, but I know that you sharing will help somebody else. Yeah.
So I took the abuse for a really long time, stayed for the kids. That's what my parents did. They stayed married for 27 years for the kids, and they were miserable. So I always just stayed for the kids. And because I was being abused, I didn't know how I was going to make it on my own, or you know, whatever, made excuses, you know, which is what you do in abusive relationships. But the moment I knew for sure that like this was it, as he got really upset with my oldest child. My oldest and myself took all the abuse. He favored my youngest. So he didn't take the brunt of that. But there was one time, I don't even remember what it was about, but he put his hands around my oldest's throat, and he was probably only like 12. And I mean, I lost my mind. Like that was it for me. Shockingly, it was probably still another year before I got to walk away from him. He got sent to Korea, and that was like a blessing from the universe, because he was an abusive narcissist. If I tried to leave him when he was here, there would have been abuse and police reports and, you know, all the things that a lot of people go through, the doors getting knocked down. So I knew him going to Korea was my way out to, I have a whole year to separate this. So it did. I mean, it was not smooth. Even from Korea, he tormented me. But yeah, when he went that far with my son, I was like, it'll only get worse. It'll only be a matter of time before, like,
you
know.
Yeah. So I want to say this about like domestic violence, abuse, mental abuse, all of it. It all goes together, and it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody's hitting you or your son, or the mental abuse is so devastating for us. So I look at you, and this is just me looking in at you, and I see, now I didn't know you 6 years ago, but you're beautiful. You're absolutely beautiful. Your personality, everything about you, that's what made me attracted to be your friend, right? Because I usually attract to good people like that. But I remember, gosh, this was a really long time ago, and I have a friend, and she is the same, absolutely beautiful. And she was really young at the time. And I said something to her about being so pretty. And she looked at me and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, and I'm looking at her like, are you kidding me? You're like one of the most beautiful people that walks this earth. But her self-esteem was so low that she didn't believe it. And I don't know if I'm pretty sure you probably can relate to this. Like you said, like, who's going to want you? You have 2 kids. You're not college. You didn't go to college. You're not good enough. And all of that. Was that embedded in your brain? I mean, did you look in the mirror and ever, I mean, I'm pretty sure now you look in the mirror and look at yourself a lot different than you did even 6 years ago.
Yes, for sure. I will say again, the sport of gymnastics gave me a confidence about myself that was there. And I had a grandma who would tell me how beautiful I was every single, like, multiple times a day. So as a child, that was implanted in my mind. So I'm thankful for those things, because it stayed with me even when he was doing all the little things to belittle me and make me feel small. In the back of my head, I knew, like, I know I'm not like these things, you know. However, it still did eat away at me, to where when I did break free, there was a lot of healing. I have way more confidence now. I was never really allowed to speak or voice my opinion. I mean, yes, I spoke, and we were friends. I'm not trying to like downplay like what it was, right? But the lessons, the blessings, everything that comes with, you know, those experiences. But yeah, like, as far as having an opinion, it was always like, I agreed with him, and you know, always what he wanted. So it was pleasing him. So yeah, finding my voice, who I really was outside of this military wife and his little like arm candy, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, way more confident now. Totally different human. It seems like lifetimes ago, a different lifetime. I don't even, that poor little girl, I wish I could just like hug her, right? We all wish we could hug the younger version of ourselves.
Right. Yeah. And I think a lot of times
that shit, you know, and I'm glad we're doing this, because I hope it reaches that one person who's in that and doesn't have the confidence to leave. I lived in the fucking ghetto after I left my husband, and I didn't care. You know, I got the cheapest place. It's all I could afford. You know, there was someone shot right next door in the front yard. Just, I had to do what I had to do. And I was just talking to someone that said, I'd rather live in a box than go back to that. And I say it all the time. It's so true. So anyone listening, you can do it. If you don't have family, I was all on my own, 2-3 jobs making it happen because, like I said, a lot of times it just continues to get worse until family's getting a phone call that you're missing or you're dead or whatever, laid up in the hospital abused. So yeah.
Yeah. So, and I really love what you said. And I really try to instill this, especially in the younger generation. Like you said, your grandma told you how beautiful you were. So you knew that in your head, right? And the discipline of your gymnastics. But I think it's so important for people. And I didn't do these things. So I can sit here now and say this because I didn't ever have that. I never had anybody telling me those things. I had just the opposite, not you're beautiful and all that. My grandma was an alcoholic that would rip you apart and call you a bitch at the age of 12. It was just the way that it was. So that self-esteem we have to develop sometimes on our own because it's been knocked down so low. But if we can start with, whether it's somebody that's in your family or just somebody that's a sideline that you see, just telling somebody they're beautiful or just telling somebody that you love their smile. People don't realize how much that could help one person in a day. And I talk about that so much. Like I'm constantly complimenting people, whether it's men, I don't compliment too much because then it gets like, it's weird kind of, but
I at this concert and he was dressed so sharp and I let him know, and he just like lit up because he didn't expect it, but compliment all the things, all the things.
Because you just don't know what that person's going through. And you could be that little light that triggers their mind that says, oh, wait, I am beautiful. I tell a lot of young girls if I see them, like sometimes I'll be walking through a store and it just gravitates for some reason. And I'll say, do me a favor, please don't ever let anyone take your smile or your beautifulness away from you, because they're 13, 14, all bubbly and stuff, and they're adorable. But you think about that one person that could just start messing with their mind. And unfortunately, it's so easy to happen to us, it's just
comes from the mother, the grandmother, family, like things that have just been passed down, like alcoholics, where they don't even know what they're saying. They've got their own trauma, so yes, hopefully instilling it in the young mind so it implants that seed. But yes, knowing you're enough. I tell my students all the time, your existence alone is enough. Like it's enough.
Yes. I have it tattooed. I am enough and I am perfectly imperfect. I have like affirmations all over my body for reasons.
Right.
Because I do have to remind myself, just as you said too, it's a process, but I want, for us to share with especially the women out there that feel like they're stuck and they can't do anything just because, and it's not because they just don't know how to start developing for themselves. So maybe if you could share a little bit, like, did you like start listening to YouTube videos, reading? I mean, how did that come about?
So glad you asked this. So yes. And what I would say to someone who feels like totally overwhelmed, know that this like growth has happened over the years. Like you said, just in the last 3, you've noticed it's because every single day I'm doing something. And maybe that something is taking a nap for myself because I know I'm exhausted and run down and I've been working really hard. A 20-minute nap can be that something. And so give yourself grace as you're going through this growth, but one thing a day, one thing at a time, even if it's today I got up and I made my bed, or today I got up and I took a shower. Some people like don't get in the shower because that depression is keeping them just in the bed on the couch. So even if it's just one step, take that one step consecutively every single day and then add in another one. I highly recommend. I added motivational speeches on YouTube. I would play it while I was getting ready. Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, all the people, free on YouTube. There's so many things that are free to utilize for your growth. Find a podcast that resonates with you. Currently, I'm listening to the Self Healers soundboard, I believe is what it's called. That's on Spotify, probably everything, but That is great. Like every episode is about breaking those generational traumas and healing yourself and becoming a conscious witness of your thoughts and what you're thinking about yourself, the words you speak to yourself, speaking to yourself like you would your best friend. You know, you're not going to go and tell your best friend like, oh, girl, you're fat.
Right.
You're ugly. Oh my God, your hair's, you know, you're not going to say those things where you're just going to pick yourself apart. Why? For
Right.
what? You are like, just, yeah, it takes a lot of daily work, because definitely there are days I still struggle. They're not every day's rainbows. Like you just saw, I went through it, but it's knowing that life is happening. And while you're doing these growth habits, reading, podcasts, you know, I could recommend books for days, but I devour books on self-development and healing, you know, trauma. Oh, dang it. I don't have the book in me. I wish I could tell them all. Books, y'all, read all the books that you can get, and the free podcast. I just do it every day. I was taking something in that was positive, especially if you're in a family or friend cycle that's toxic and just party and drinking and drugs and negative energy or negative thoughts. You know, there's always something going around on Instagram and Facebook that's like, if you look around and your whole circle's like just negative, like that's who you are, or whatever,
Right.
obviously.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, are who you surround yourself with. So if you're not getting positive things with your friends and family, you need to be taking it in other ways, because it's so hard to stay positive in a toxic environment. So if you can't cut those people out from your life, hopefully one day you can love them from a distance.
Yes.
Realize they're no longer for your growth. But yeah, I mean, it's daily. It's a daily freaking commitment, and it's hard, and not every day is perfect. There are days where, I mean, I don't make my bed, or you know, it is, it's okay, but you know, doing the best you can and just finding people who help you keep a positive mindset.
Yes. And I love what you said about, would you have that conversation with your best friend the way that you talk to yourself? So there's a book out there actually called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, I think. And he talks about the one part that always sticks in my head. He's like, because of the voices in our head all the time, they're there. Yeah. Whether you think they are or they're not, they're there. And if you're sitting on a bench and the things that you say to yourself, would you say to that person sitting next to you? And I'm like, nope, I wouldn't say those things to that person. But it's all about that. And I love that you said it's like the daily new habits, and small. It doesn't have to be big. You know, I just talked to somebody that he said he puts his shoes in front of his front door. So he knows that when he looks at that front door, he's putting his shoes on, he's going out for a walk, his tennis shoes, he's going for a walk. And that became his daily habit. So I always tell people, you know, here we are. I mean, I'm not a spring chicken. I'm 56 years old. It's taken me a long time to learn this stuff, but I didn't get this way. You know, I didn't get better in a day, 2 days, 5 days, a month, a year. It's a process. But
we're in a world of instant gratification and comparing, people will look at Instagram and think it just overnight, you know, just this peaceful little human being or whatever it is, successful. No, like every day you've got to put steps in because it's worth it. Right.
It's sure. Sure. And I love, okay, we're going to go with this right now too, because, okay, social media, I'm going to go here with this because when we're looking at social media,
I didn't wear makeup just for you.
Thank you. Because we don't want to do any filters.
Right.
We don't need filters. No, but when you're looking at social media, what you're seeing is, I mean, let's be honest, you're seeing people's highlight reels. You're seeing the best of the best. Nobody's going to put I mean, you might have somebody on there that will share. Well, sometimes people just they have that victim mentality too, and they want that. But I'm just talking about like the highlight reels of people's lives. And so a friend and I were just talking about this past weekend. Like you see all the things and they're here and they're doing this and they're all happy and everything's great. And you sit back and you're looking at their life going, oh my gosh, my life sucks. I haven't done anything with my life. And then you do the comparison. Don't
Yep.
do it. Don't do it. Listen, our lives are what we make our lives at the end of the day. You know, I can sit here and say that now wholeheartedly. Like, but even when I was in my domestic violence, my drama, my addiction, I was making that choice every day. So that's a big thing that I'm on right now. It's, we all make the choices, and we get that beat down. We're not worthy. We're not this. But when there's so much out there nowadays, and so much self-development and so much self-help and so many people sharing their struggles, whether it's women, men, you don't have to struggle like that anymore. Then it comes to the choices that we're making. And I think that's a big, I went from Facebook to choices real quick because we see the highlight reels. I just really think that people need to know that it is fake book, you know,
and, you know, also to just caveat off of that, you know, watch who you're following, watch what kind of content you're taking in, because that's also, you know, going into your mind. Your mind believes everything you tell it and everything you absorb. So if you're just reading toxic posts, drama, negativity, that's what you're taking in. So start clearing that shit out and follow people who are positive, who are, you know, inspiring, and, you know, be inspired. Don't compare, because you're right. Like, no one is sharing. Like, I'm not going to share and post the photo of when I'm pulling my 20-year-old and 16-year-old off each other because they're fighting, they're wrestling, they're in a chokehold. I'm not posting that. Like, that's just life. Like,
right.
So everyone's going through it, no matter what kind of bullshit they're posting. I mean, even celebrities who people think money just equals like complete and total bliss, right? We're in the fantasy land that like people just got it easy once they have money. But I will tell you, the wealthiest people I've ever met are the most lost and miserable humans I've ever encountered.
Yeah.
So money does not make happiness. Actually, it brings more pain, struggle, and, you know, drama if you don't heal the past bullshit first.
Right. Yeah, that is really, you know, I've talked about that a lot too. And especially when I've seen like that, I can't remember what her name was. She was the Miss Universe from, or Miss America. That just jumped from the building 56 stories or whatever.
Life to hers, thinking she's just got it all figured out because she's beautiful and like, and really struggling, but she's just got to put on a smile, right? Like that marriage, just smile through it, fake it, like life is grand, right? No, ew, like a lot of people were super shocked. I was like, I'm leaving him. And they're like, wait, what? Because I was a performer. So I went crazy. I had to get the fuck out, right?
No, right. Exactly. So that's the thing. And that's why I do this. And this is why, because I want people to know that we do, people struggle. We do struggle through life, but we can get to a strength. As long as we're willing to do it, you know. And when I share these stories like your story, and I'm so thankful that you got on here with me today to share, because I am in just hope that one person will hear it and be like, oh my gosh, I heard Allison's story today and I'm living like that. I can get out of this abusive relationship, and I can turn to somebody to get the help that I need, because it's not, you know, I stress this so much. Like I said, you know, it's not an easy task, but it's, choose your heart. What is your heart? You know, do you want to wake up every day miserable? You know, we're only on this planet Earth for a short time. We're only here for a little while. And there's no sense in being miserable while you're here. I mean, I lived many, many miserable years in my life that I take as learning experiences now. I'll never, you know, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do to change that. But what I can change is how I help other people through their struggles. And that's what, to me, life is all about for me, is just making somebody's day a little brighter, giving somebody a smile, giving somebody a compliment, letting people know that your story is important, that your life is important, that what you went through is important, or what you're going through, it's okay, but let's get you out of it and get you to a better place. So yeah, I'm excited. So let's hear a little bit about where you're at right now. I know that you're like your yoga is like going so great for you. Let's talk a little bit about that. You know, you talked about like your husband saying, well, you didn't graduate from college, you're never going to be able to do anything and this and that. And what you're doing now is amazing.
Right.
So let's hear it.
Need a college degree. I posted a little like TikTok or reel, and you know, the thing I hear it all the time, dress for the job you want. So I made a reel that said, when society tells you to dress for the job you want, and I am barefoot in leggings, I'm like, so you become a yoga instructor and work from home. Like,
Nice.
I want to, and I want to be in, you know, barefoot. I don't want to wear shoes. So I grew up a gymnast. Once again, I grew up barefoot. Like,
right.
That's who I am. But like you, I knew that I just wanted to help people in any capacity. And yoga is so, so rewarding. It helped me so much find like peace within myself, peace with my decisions, you know, because it's real easy to stay married, you know, God this, and hearing all the like chitter chatter of all the people, their input in, and staying firm. So finding that like grounding of yoga, connecting with your breath, like yoga's magic, y'all. It's an underrated practice, but no, breathing regulates your nervous system. So it helps with anxiety, depression, all these things that we feel out of control. Learning to connect with your breath in those moments and just redirect your awareness. It's magic. So I've been got certified with Black Swan Yoga here. They have 5 locations in Austin, a couple in Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and 2 in Denver. So really excited to just be with this company who's just, it's donation based. So just their mission and everything just aligns with me. They want to make it yoga accessible to anyone. So you could come in and donate $1. You could come in and say, you know what, I just don't have any money. What, you know, welcome. We'll give you a free class today. So I love that they do that, but I'm teaching there like so many times a week, 9 classes a week. I just recently got on their online platform, so you can stream unlimited yoga for $8 a month with Black Swan. I'm on there and tons of other incredible yoga instructors, but yes, I'm loving it. This is what my dream is, to just travel and teach yoga.
I've been watching
peace to people. So
yeah. So that the $8 a month, that's blackswanyoga.com, or how did they get that?
Or ESY.TV. So if you go to ESY.TV, it'll pull up, you sign up. Yeah. First week is free, and then it's $8 unlimited to just stream any video you want. But yeah, I'm on there.
I'm gonna have to do that, because I did know that you were doing that, but I haven't asked yet, like, how do I do that? Now, I've never done any yoga, so I'm excited, because I think that
I always tell people, do 30 days straight. It's transformative. It really is. So a lot of the videos on BSY TV are 30 minutes. There are longer ones, but when I started again, I was a single broke mom, so I couldn't afford to go to these yoga studios. And that's what I love about ours being donation based, because a lot of yoga studios are really bougie and swanky and in the upper elite, you know, price range, you know, really directed it.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? So the fact that they're donation based, $8 a month, you can stream it unlimited. I love them. They're great.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But
and you're
to transform your life. Do it, guys.
Yeah. And the thing is I've been doing more meditation, so I'm learning that. But what you said about protecting your peace, and that's what it all comes down to, is we have to, like you said, the outside noises and all that, but we have to learn to protect ourselves, because the world isn't going to protect us. But if we can learn to do the steps that we need to take to help us to get through the things.
And I think so often we listen to those outside voices, whether it's parents or just society and all these norms that we've created. And then we don't even take ourselves into consideration or take our own input into consideration, because so-and-so said this, or, you know, so many people are my age or your age even, and still letting their parents dictate what the choices they make. This like blows my mind. Like,
no, it's true.
So, or like, my family did this, so I have to stay in this same whatever it is, like no one's willing to just veer off the path. I mean, I'm a black sheep through and through. I'm the black sheep of the family. So, just so many people are afraid to take that black sheep route and maybe go down that lonely road of healing, but damn, it's worth it.
It sure is. And that you said that because like when I got sober, I think I was the first person in the family that got sober before they died, basically.
Well, and all your friends were drunks, so you just hung out with partiers. So now you got to find a new circle to hang out with.
Oh yeah. But let me tell you what, the circle that you'll find is amazing. So just like we found each other, it's been a blessing. We don't see each other that often, usually just on our lifestyle getaways that we go on, but
we get to have fun and dance. Like
that's right. We get to have fun and dance, and we have a friendship now, and I believe that God, the universe, whatever anybody wants to believe, has a way of putting those people in your life, but you have to be the one to accept it and to enjoy it. So is there anything you want to add on here? Like any, I don't know, last great words you want to say to anybody?
Oh my gosh, that's no pressure. Any great words? No, I mean, great words. Just do the work for yourself. You're worth it. Like you said, we're here for such a short time, and the choice you get to make is stay in that struggle or just make a daily effort to. 4 Agreements. I'm going to throw out a couple books. That's what
4 Agreements. I love that book.
4 Agreements, one that like changed the trajectory of my growth. I just read the 7 Principles. You could do the Millionaire Mind. Like this one's right here. This one's great. I'm also currently reading Can't Hurt Me. I don't know all these authors.
Oh, David Goggins.
Oh, have you read that one?
Oh yeah. Have you listen, anybody on here? Okay. Can't Hurt Me is one of the best books. David Goggins is one of my favorite human beings, and I don't really even know him, but want to talk about a mindset person. But if you can read the book, but the Audible, do you have Audible?
I'm actually reading it. So
okay. I've read it, but here's the good thing about that Audible with David Goggins. I'm going to throw this one out there is when the narrator's narrating the book, David Goggins is right there and he gives feedback.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So that is really good.
I say that one is definitely for a certain type because he's super harsh. He is a thing. So the little yogi in me, I know you love it. And I do too. So I have this yoga Instagram I'm working on and starting, but my name is the Savage Sweetheart because there's like this fine balance of both. Me, I have that savage from my trauma, my family, that like going through the mud, but I also have this like really sweet, light yogi. So I appreciate David Goggins for all that he is, but as I'm reading it, I'm like, oh man, don't talk to yourself like that.
Right. So well, here's the thing too. He has two of that book. He has the book that has a lot of F-bombs in it, and he did another one without all of that in it.
Okay.
For those people that, because I don't know if you know Chastity Marie or not, but I said, Chas, listen to this Audible, and she was flying home and she called me when she got home and she's like, I just couldn't. She's like, if I heard the F word one more time, I was going to like jump off the plane. And I was like, oh yeah. So he did come out with one that doesn't say that so much. But I wanted to say this too, as we're talking, because I guess we're not done yet. But when I think about when we were talking about the 4 Agreements and the different books like that, the other thing that I've learned a lot in the last year is gratitude. Waking up and at least saying at least 3 things that you're grateful for. And I don't care who you are and what you're going through. You can wake up in the morning and say, I opened my eyes today. I took a breath today. I heard a bird today. Yeah. And that's enough to be grateful for, just to get started. But if you can really practice gratitude, it is life-changing. It really, I mean, I don't know if I'm pretty sure you probably practice gratitude.
These are little things that I added in, and definitely not a thing. It's not a thing I do every single morning. When I first started my growth, it was a ritual every single morning. As life gets busier, some mornings I forget, but again, I give myself grace. I do a lot in a week. So there'll be weeks on end where I'm just every single morning I get in that zone, and then I'll get busy and forget. So it's just coming back to those daily habits, especially again, being a conscious witness of your mind. If you notice yourself taking that road of like going back into those old patterns. You're like, all right, we got to get back on track. What do we got to do? What have I been leaving out? You know, get back into those things. And even if I skip gratitude, I'm still trying to get in 20 minutes of reading a day at least.
Right.
You know, those little things. There's lots of things that compile over the years that I do to take care of me. But again, it could be as simple as taking 10 minutes to take a nap or a bath or anything.
Right. And the other thing, go ahead. Sorry.
But anything brings you some peace. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing that I was just going to say too, that you said a couple times and I didn't really emphasize on it, is give yourself grace. Give yourself grace, because like I said, it took me a long time to get where I'm at, you know, and there are days that, and there, you know, there's some days that I lay in bed like, I really don't want to get up today. I mean, I really have a lot going on right now. And it's okay to lay there, not lay there and wallow in my sorrows or anything, but it's okay to figure out what's going on and just lay there and be still. I just did a podcast a couple weeks ago about doing that. And a lot of people think that they're being selfish if they're not like out there doing whatever to help everybody or do whatever. Like taking some time for themselves is selfishness. No, taking some time for yourself is giving yourself grace, setting a boundary, and learning who you are. You have to know who you are, you know.
Say more often, you know, the more you heal, the more your body really starts speaking to you, or you can start hearing that gut instinct of like, when you make plans and you don't really feel like going when the time comes, but then you still go, and you're the whole time you're just like, oh, I would rather be at home. So I would do that. I just would show up, put a smile on. I would show up for everyone else, but you gotta show up for you. How do you show up for you? And if you're constantly making decisions based on what you're like, well, so-and-so will be mad, or so-and-so this, or I told her I'd be there. I missed a wedding last year and I had RSVP'd. I had talked to the person 2 weeks before. And then that week came, I had coached 13 classes in the week. And when it came time, I just didn't have it in me. And I don't care. Like, I cannot show up for you. I love you. This wedding's happening with or without me. I'm not making or breaking this. It's going to be like,
exactly. That's huge. What you just said, it's going to be okay.
Right.
It'll be okay. You know, and people need to understand that. And unfortunately, a lot of times people don't understand that, but that's okay, because as long as we're at peace with it.
Get here. Because like I said, I was the person who just showed up, even when my gut and body and mind is saying, I don't want to go. Blah, I already told them I'd be there. You know, I was the person that just went, and it drained my energy. And I was just not a better person for it. I did not feel better going. I should have just, the more you trust yourself, the more like things just start happening. Like you said, you start to feel better. You start to trust yourself more. Like all these things take time, growth. This did not happen overnight. It's huge to choose for yourself. It really is. And it's a hard thing to do, to know, you know, to truly honor what you want to do and break that thing, that voice in your head that says you're selfish or you're lazy or this or that or whatever those little voices come in and start saying, whether it's something someone's told you or just shit you're saying to yourself. Your mind believes everything you tell it.
Yes.
So telling it some really great things, like those high five habits. Even, you know, if you need that kick in the ass, like David Goggins, go in the mirror and like tell yourself all the things that you need to fix. Like, it. I'm not going to say it, but I mean, it's so true, because so many people, we're just going on and on. I don't even know how long we've been talking, but we're preaching here for the people.
It's exactly it. I want to say the one thing that David Goggins has said to me, you know, when we were hanging out, the thing that really stuck to me, the biggest thing that he says is, you can either, your mind will control you or you will control it. And at the end of the day, I just said this to a friend the other day, because we were talking about triggers, because I'm sure you have them too, you know, that trigger. But what you need to learn is, what are you going to put in your mind when that trigger happens? So my thing, like if I have something really triggering me, I say the Serenity Prayer. It's tattooed on my leg for a reason. Every time I go to the bathroom, guess what I see? It's right there, so I say that a lot. Like if something's going in negative, I'm like, grant me the serenity, to accept the things that
Yep.
cannot change, courage, change things, can wisdom, know the difference. And then
Yeah.
that's in my head. But that's what we have to learn to do. It's all learning. And whether you listen to, say it's a day that you need to hear David Goggins, or it's a day you need to hear Gary Vee or Les Brown or Joyce Myers.
You have to find what works for you, because
Yes.
some need that like sweet little compassion. Find someone that resonates. Brene Brown, a
Yes.
podcast really resonates with you, or maybe you really need that tough love. And I love to give both. Like,
yeah, me too.
I'm talking to, I know what I can give my good friends. I'm bringing the tough love from a really like sweet, thoughtful love space, but I know you need that extra push. Do not, and that's why I love David Goggins, because I appreciate that. And Gary Vee, he's not for everybody, he's real harsh too. Like he will be the first one to say, oh, you're depressed, no one gives a shit.
Right.
Like, and it's a harsh reality. It really is. Said earlier, no one's saving you.
Right.
You've got to make the choice to save yourself, because people aren't worried about your mental health. You got to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I think that we gave a lot of good insights. I'm just blessed that you came on here with me. And I always tell people when I interview them that I can't wait to come back 6 months or a year to see where you're at and where everything's going. And I love doing that. And are you going to be at Thrive-Palooza?
Yes. Are you?
Yes. So I will see you in a few weeks. I'm excited about that. And we'll dance somewhere.
Yeah.
So sure. Allison, thank you so much for joining us today. I know your life is crazy busy, and I appreciate you giving up your afternoon to share with us and give hope to other people. And you guys, if you're out there struggling with anything, just know that there is hope out there. There's so many avenues that you can take, and reach out, reach out to somebody, whether it's me, maybe Allison touched you somehow, sign up for her yoga, whatever it is, we're here to help. I'm always say that I'm here to help. I'm not here to carry you all the time, but I am here to help you to get in the right direction to where you need to go. So thanks for tuning in to Hope. I hope everybody has an amazing day. Thank you.